Hello, welcome back to my channel, and on today's video I'm going to talk about why I stopped actually comparing Europe from home, or rather where I was in Netherlands from home. And the simple reason is because it wasn't helping me in any way. It actually got me stuck from moving forward. I remember when I arrived, I used to compare, or rather convert whatever I'm about to buy from the currency back at home, and that meant that it prevented me from buying many things. And whether it was good or not, I would say not, because it prevents you from moving ahead. You keep on you find yourself in a situation where you just keep on comparing things, you keep on comparing the culture, and you forget that you're actually in two different worlds. It was very clear afterwards that it will never be home and home will never be Europe. So having set these two clear records, it gave me a sense of peace. It gave me a sense of growth, where I knew that I am in a totally different place. I am in I'm not home. There are some things I will have, there are some things I will not have. Because, for example, in Europe, things like salaries, things like cleanliness, the system, the transport, these are things that are measurable. These are things that actually they are there. If you put them on paper, Europe will actually be winning. But does it mean that home is not good? Does it mean that home is not livable? Of course not. Remember, comparison actually, it doesn't ask you what you need. It actually asks you who's ahead. And that means you find yourself in a situation where you are just on a competition ranking yourself. And what that gives you, it is pure stress, pure bitterness, and a lot of ignorance, what struck me after like a certain period of time and making peace with myself was it made me realize actually that home didn't fail me. Home just prepared me, and also Europe, it didn't save me, it just stretched me. One side, I would say home gave me endurance, it gave me the resilience. On the other side, I would say Europe gave me the structure, because, for example, here things are actually structurally organized. For example, when you talk of transport, they come on time, they leave on time. This is something maybe back at home is different. People are quite relaxed. The bus will come when the bus come, and it will leave when it has to leave, So I realized very quickly that I wasn't supposed to choose between them. Comparing things back at home and here in Europe, it's actually something that at some point, I remember when I was quite new, it basically put me in a position where I didn't feel like I was quite grateful of the things I've gone through. In some situation, it gave you like some shameful, you kind of felt ashamed of the place you're coming from. But with time, you start to appreciate actually why everything happened the way that it happened, because the endurance, the resilience that I went through was because of where I came from. Perhaps if I didn't come through this all background, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And this all comes with growth. Growth means you learn, you don't rank, you don't also compete with the situation. You don't compete how the place you are from home. You just realize that actually both places are beautiful. It teaches you how different things work in different manner, how you can actually incorporate the other to the other, so that two things actually coexist at once. For example, in my case, I arrived as an au pair, or rather someone who takes care of the kids. If I would be stuck comparing it back home and say, hey, look, I am just a nanny, and despite me having a degree or something, I would just be stuck behind, because that's how people perhaps view such kind of people back at home. But I knew this wasn't my destination. I knew this was a ladder, and I knew this was a door to my other stepping stones, and it actually was my door, because I am where I am right now because I decided to take that path. It gives me confidence, it gave me orientation. It actually gave me a platform to be able to integrate alone, rather not alone, but without the help of anybody, because you first of all leave everything back at home and start afresh in a place where you don't know anybody, in a place where you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, you don't know anything. So it gave me a platform to build myself, rather I would say to bond myself in a different field that I was never before, in that manner, if I can say it correctly. I remember a long time ago, many people used to ask me, they still ask me, if I was to choose one, whether Europe is better or home is better. And up to date, I think I can't give a good answer, because yeah, Europe is nice and home didn't fail me. So it is just different. These are two different places with different expectation, with different vibe, and I actually love them both. When I'm home, I feel relaxed. I feel like my identity belongs there. I feel like that's what I'm familiar with. And when I'm also away from home, here in Europe, I feel like everything is efficient. I feel like the streets are clean. I feel the systems are working. The salary is good. So it's a win-win. It depends what someone wants at that particular moment. If you want a bit of a slow movement, perhaps home is the best. If you want a bit of efficiency, a bit of organization, a bit of then I would say Europe is winning on this. But both continents are actually, or rather, both countries are actually perfect. Yeah. Before I finish the video, I would like to narrate about a story of a friend of mine whom I met a long time ago called Jack. Jack to me, or to my eyes, or on the surface level, I felt like he was winning. I felt like he was winning despite the challenges, the struggles that someone goes through in Europe, for example, learning the language, trying to integrate, which is actually difficult. If you're back at home, you might not realize how difficult it is to integrate, to know the culture, to know how the system works, to know that if you do this, the bill will follow you. It's actually different. But for him, he seemed to be knowing everything. He knew all places where you can get cheap things, all places where you can actually get shortcuts. He was winning. So Jack looked like he had figured out life abroad. He was working, had routine, survived without fully integrating, and to me, he looked successful. So one day I decided to ask him casually, like, would you ever move back home? And he said, actually, I don't know where home is anymore. And I found that to be actually interesting, or rather carrying a lot of information. So anyway, he made it abroad, but didn't know where he belonged. And that actually stayed with me. It's also one of the moments when I realized something important, that you can survive anywhere, you can earn anywhere, you can adapt anywhere, but belonging takes intention. Belonging doesn't come with a visa. Belonging doesn't come with a passport. It doesn't come with a job either. It doesn't come automatically with time. Where you belong is where home is, and home is where the heart is. So cutting it short, growth is not choosing which place is better. Growth is just learning from both areas or both parts. As much as Europe taught me structure, I have to say home taught me resilience. It taught me how to move forward. It taught me why this and that happens. Why is it like this and that not like that? And also it taught me that you don't have to reject where you come from to appreciate where you are. You definitely don't have to reject where you come from to appreciate where you are. And that really helps me to carry along my days. You can love where you are and still miss where you're from. And also both truths, they can exist. They don't cancel each other. This is life between home and elsewhere. And I'm still becoming, So to the person watching, what do you actually miss about home? What is that feeling that you actually do have at home that you can never replace it, no matter how many days, how many weeks, how many years you live abroad? What is that thing? For me, comparing things just stole my heart, stole my peace. It made me rank things, rank places, rank everything, and that was just basically a waste of time. So cutting it short, I stopped asking myself which place is better, because both places are actually good. Both places build me. Both places made me who I am today.